Welcome to this episode of Purpose, Power, and Potential presented by the Top 1%. The French philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, "The immortality of the human soul is of such intense importance to us that a person must have lost all feeling not to care about knowing the facts of the matter on the subject." In the Bible too, it says that God placed eternity in our hearts, and this is evidenced in the earliest archaeological findings of burial rituals and cave drawings that point to the afterlife and the enduring soul. There is something inside us which regularly pushes us toward the belief that this physical life will end, but we, our souls, will persist. The following excerpt is from Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay, The Oversoul. What we commonly call man, the eating, drinking, planting, counting man, does not, as we know him, represent himself, but misrepresents himself. Him we do not respect, but the soul, whose organ he is, would he let it appear through his action, would make our knees bend. When it breathes through his intellect, it is genius. When it flows through his affection, it is love. For to the soul in her pure action, all the virtues are natural and not painfully acquired. Speak to his heart, and the man becomes suddenly virtuous. I'm not a philosopher, but it's important to explain some philosophical terms so that you can best understand my approach and perspective on achievement and human potential. In very simple terms, physicalism is a point of view that puts a human being in the category of merely a physical entity. In physicalism, only physical substances with physical properties exist. Regarding humans, the physical body, and the central nervous system in particular, are the substances that make up the person. Physicalists believe that our conscious mental life of thoughts and emotions are nothing more than a dream of physical events associated with our brain and nervous system. There is another point of view that is in disagreement with physicalism. This perspective is called dualism. According to dualists, genuinely mental entities are real. There are actually two types of dualism, property dualism and substance dualism. Since I approach the world from the perspective of substance dualism, I will describe that point of view here. Substance dualism holds that the brain and central nervous system are physical things that have physical properties, whereas the mind or soul is a mental substance that has mental properties and is not merely physical. When we are in pain, for example, the brain will have certain physical manifestations, both electrical and chemical, and will contain certain physical states, like nerve depolarization or nerve excitation. During the same pain process, the soul will have certain mental properties such as the conscious awareness of being in pain. The soul is the possessor of its own experiences, and it is not identified with any part of the brain or body. Mental states have some or all of the following features, which are not physical features in any way. Mental states have an intrinsic conscious feel. Mental states are also inner, private, and first-person introspective states. In contrast, any way a person has of knowing about a physical thing or entity is accessible to everyone else. We can both look at an MRI of your brain and discuss if it looks normal from a physical perspective, but only you can know what you were thinking during our conversation. Think and contemplate on these two previous sentences deeply, and I think you will begin to understand the key difference. Our own consciousness is a mystery, but in my opinion, it seems best explained by the existence of God. While individual finite minds seem logical in the universe created by a divine mind, they are very challenging to account for in a naturalistic worldview. Stuart Getz and J.P. Moreland have advanced an interesting argument for the non-physical nature of the self that may help in wrapping your mind around this. The argument states 5 separate premises that are as follows. I am essentially an indivisible, simple, spiritual substance. Any physical body is essentially a divisible or complex entity. In other words, any physical body has special extensions or parts that can be separated. The law of identity pertains. This simply means that if X is identical to Y, then whatever is true of X is true of Y, and vice versa. I am not identical with my or any physical body. If I'm not identical with a physical body, then I am a soul. Through self-awareness, I am conscious of the fact that I am a soul who was and is the owner of all of my own experiences. In addition, it's important to note that I am fully present throughout my entire body, though not identical to any one part of it. If my leg is cut off, I do not become less of a person. My body and brain are divisible and can be present in percentages, but I myself am not divisible and cannot be present in percentages of a whole. I, as a soul, am an all-or-nothing type of entity. The soul is to the body just as God is to space. It is fully present at each point within the body at all times. In other words, you are not your body, my friend. You have a body, but you are a soul. As usual, I would love to hear what you think about these concepts. Do you think you are just a physical body? Or do you think you, as your soul, will persist after this life? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Purpose, Power, and Potential, where we will help you discover the power of why in your life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media so that you can reach the top 1%.